There was once a young man named Daniel. He wasn't lazy, but life always felt bigger than him. Every time he tried to improve himself, he looked at the huge goals, the massive mountains, and quit before taking the first step. He wanted to be successful. He wanted to change his life, but every goal looked impossible. One night, after failing yet another attempt at starting something new, Daniel sat on his bed. Frustrated, he whispered to himself, "Why do I always give up? Why is life so hard for me?" And for the first time, he admitted the truth. He wasn't failing because he was weak. He was failing because he was trying to do everything at once. The next morning, Daniel woke up and made a decision. Not a big one, life-changing, just a small one. He told himself, "Today, I'll just walk for 10 minutes. He didn't try to exercise for 1 hour. He didn't try to change his entire body in a week. Just 10 minutes, and he did it. The next day, he walked again. Still 10 minutes, still small, still simple. By the end of the first week, something unexpected happened. Daniel didn't feel tired. He felt proud. For the first time in years, he had completed something consistently. That feeling was new, and it felt powerful. On the 8th day, he increased the walk to 15 minutes. On the 10th day, he added a short jog, just a little one, another small step. Weeks passed. Daniel didn't become a fitness model. He didn't become a marathon runner, but something inside him changed. One day, while jogging slowly on a quiet street, he stopped and asked himself, "What else can I improve with small steps?" So he tried something new. Just 5 minutes of reading every morning. Not a whole book, not even a chapter, just 5 minutes. He repeated it the next day, and the next, and soon, those 5 minutes became 10, then 15, and slowly, knowledge began shaping his thoughts, his confidence, and his mindset. After a few months, Daniel noticed he was thinking differently. He wasn't rushing anymore. He wasn't overwhelmed anymore. The pressure to be perfect was gone. All he needed to do was show up, take one small step, and not stop. When his friends saw him, they didn't understand the change. He looked calmer, more focused, more determined. One of them asked, "Bro, what happened to you? What's the secret?" Daniel smiled and said, "I stopped trying to win the whole race in a day. Now, I just take the next step." His friends laughed at first. Small steps? That sounded too simple. But months passed, and the results became obvious. Daniel's body had changed. His mind had changed. His habits had changed. His energy, his discipline, his focus all improved. And he wasn't even trying to be extraordinary. He just didn't stop. One day, Daniel applied for a job he never would have dared to try for a year earlier. He felt nervous, but he remembered his rule, one step at a time. He prepared for the interview using the same method: 10 minutes of practice, 10 minutes of research, 10 minutes of improvement. And when interview day came, he walked into the room with confidence he had earned slowly, through hundreds of tiny victories. A week later, he got the job. That night, he sat on the balcony, looking at the sky, thinking of everything he had overcome, not through big leaps, not through sudden transformation, but through small, consistent steps. He realized something powerful. It's not the size of the step that matters, but the direction. A small step forward every day will eventually take you farther than a giant leap made once a year. Months turned into a year, and Daniel's life looked completely different. People called him disciplined, focused, successful. But he knew the truth. He wasn't any of those things. He was simply consistent. He remembered how he started, not with a plan, with motivation, but with one decision to do something small. A 10-minute walk, 5 minutes of reading, simple actions, repeated daily, and that was enough to reshape his entire life. So, if you're watching this right now, feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or lost, remember Daniel, remember his journey, and remember this: you don't need to change everything today. You don't need to become perfect this week. You don't need to know the whole path. Just take one small step, then another, because small steps, when repeated, become unstoppable. And one day, you will look back at the journey you've made and realize the tiny steps you were ignoring were the very steps that changed your life. Your story can begin today. With one small step,